Welcome, y'all. Today we're at the beautiful Saunders Ranch in Weatherford, Texas, cooking chili for our chili cook-in. I'm so excited y'all are here with us today, and I'm going to give you a little bit of my favorite history about chili. A lot of people always assume that it came from our neighbors in Mexico, but the true origin of chili came from when the Spaniards had control of parts of Texas. They actually also owned parts of the Canary Islands, so they brought Canary Island women to Texas to cook for the fort soldiers and the workers that they had. With them, these women brought a flavorful meat stew that today we call chili. So join us as we take a look at the ingredients, the authenticity, and the history of this dish. A lot of folks like to add beans to their chili pot, but since this is a rich meat stew, beans are not welcome here. And I know that's also a controversial subject for some families, so we'll tuck it away with politics and religion, and we won't mention it again. The other thing that's wonderful about knowing the history of this dish is that sometimes in chili blends, you'll find cumin or cinnamon, very interesting spice blends. These can vary since the recipes have changed over time. Today, we're inspired by a chili recipe that we found in our historical archives that has roots here in Weatherford, Texas. The Jess Hall chili recipe that today you can still find in production in Fort Worth, but actually started right here in Parker County. So our actual ingredients are going to begin with some chopped white onion. We've got a few cloves of chopped garlic. We've got some fantastically spicy chopped jalapenos, and we've got our chili blend. It doesn't take a whole lot of ingredients to go into chili because the most important thing is the spice mix and the meat that you choose. I've also added in some ancho and guajillo peppers for true authentic taste and a really deep complex flavor. So join us as we put these all together. It's going to be fantastic. Now that we've got our chili started, let's hear from our friend Red Stegall about the origin and history of the Chuckwagon.
You know, we've learned a lot from our ancestors. They dealt with adversities every day. They had one motivation in mind, and that was survival. So anything that made life easier for them was a big deal. Right here in Parker County lived a fellow named Charles Goodnight, who made great entries into the livestock industry. And one thing that he invented that was very important to the cowboys, and still is today, because it's their center of everything social out on the range, and that's the Chuckwagon. 1863, Charlie took an old army wagon and rebuilt it and made it viable to go up the trail to feed his cowboys, because he said, like an army, cowboys move on their stomach. And so I want to do you a poem that's written by my dear friend Joel Nelson. 119 plus years it has been, and the dream has rolled out twice a year with her men. She's been shown on canvas, in books, and on screen, but she's true to her buckaroos, Charles Goodnight's dreams. Like filings to magnets, like birds to the sky, the dream can draw cowboys, and the smart man asks why. But once a man's been there, it's clear as can be. It takes strength to stay there, but lots more to leave. She draws them from gutters, from off of bar stools, some from their dad's farm or an Ivy League school. But whether they're rich, poor, or cultured, or mean, they're far better men when they're out with the dream. So set up, you cowboys, and oil up your gear. Grease up your riata for tomorrow's road deer. Sit tall in the saddle, your silver agleam. Be proud you can be part of Charles Goodnight's dream. In 1903, Henry Ford preconceived that the teams and the wagons were a duo requiem. But when mud bogs the Ford down and the gasoline's gone, Charles Goodnight's dream and her cowboys roll on. She's been home for cowboys, a hospital too. The cook was a doctor while cooking his stew. The shade and companionship under the fly, the brand of the outfit burned onto her side. The old cow buyer comes out to visit the crew. Little fat cigar, boots shiny and new, beefsteak and gravy, biscuits and beans. He buys from the outfit just to eat at the dream. Then he watches the crew catch their afternoon mount for cutting and branding, getting the count. Whether packing the bridle or a little too green, every horse has a real job on Charles Goodnight's dream. And the old buyer thinks of a time way back when the same kind of horses, the same kind of men, when he was lots younger and a little more lean, and he was a cow boss, running the dream. You know, some scholars say maybe the end is drawn near. You cowboys move over, technology's here. But somewhere out west where the big outfits are, out beyond high lines and highways and cars, our grandkids will ride out, their eyes all agleam, at the cabby strung out behind Charles Goodnight's dream.